Hello and welcome to our Focus Friday. My name is Garrett Steed. I'm one of the managing directors here with Partners in Business. We're excited to have each of you here with us today. It sounds like there's been a lot of good competition that's been happening within the sales division. We're excited to see what happens, as well as to have our panelists here with us today. I have the opportunity to introduce one of our panelists that will be here with us. That will be kicking off the this particular portion of our leadership forum. Todd, who is the Vice President and Managing Director here with MarketStar, is responsible for all the digital media, ad tech channel, client services, operations, and overall business unit. Something about Todd is that he's an avid cyclist, spends most of the season racing and training for the Lotja, which is a 206-mile race from here in Logan all the way to Jackson, Wyoming. He also won $10,000 on the Price is Right once, so that's pretty neat as well. Let's go ahead and give a round of applause for Todd. We're excited to have him here.
So, welcome. I'm glad to be here with you. If we weren't actually broadcasting this, I wouldn't even like to have the mic. I can certainly speak loud enough. But I feel like if you live in Logan and you can't say Lotja the proper way, you need to leave Logan. The race starts here, right? Lotja. So, any cyclists here who've done the race?
Part of it.
Part of it. That's right. And survived. Yes.
Survived.
So listen, I have the opportunity to maybe warm this up a little bit and spend a little bit of time with you. We're going to have some great opportunity to go through a panel. Keith will ask some really great questions of the folks who are on the panel. But what we wanted to do was to give you a little bit of an introduction to digital media and ad tech. Some of you are interested in that, and some of you are thinking you're going to go a different route when you graduate, and that's okay. If what we have to say maybe sways you a little bit, that's fine. But if you know the track that you're going on and that's what you want to do, that's okay, because what we have to share here certainly will still inform you of what's going on in a very disruptive and innovative industry. So you can see on the slide here everything that I'm going to refer to, and then as Keith goes through the panel, he'll really go off script and ask a lot of questions for the individuals here. But if you take a look on the right-hand side there, you can see what the digital ad spend has looked like, projected like, over the next 5 years. And interestingly enough, and I'll take anybody who can tell me this, when did digital advertising become the #1 source of advertising over newspaper, radio, TV, or anything else? The last one to fall was TV. When did digital advertising beat TV? When did it take over? 2013? Good guess. 16. This year? What's that? 2010. Dang, that's great. It was last year. Okay? Last year, for the first time, digital advertising had a greater revenue total than TV did. Up until that point, it was always TV. Before TV, it was newspaper. Okay? Somewhere in there, radio as well. There's always disruption when it comes to media. And in the digital media space, there's disruption as well. And you're going to hear later today from Matt Bauman and Pinterest and some of the things that they're doing from a disruptive standpoint as well. And then what we at MarketStar are doing as we work with them and with our other clients. So if you look at the graph there in the upper left-hand side, you can see the digital spend, and it is projected to grow over time, and that's not going to change. Everything that we do used to be on a desktop. Now it's normally on mobile. We don't know what's going to disrupt mobile. You might be on your watch, right? Whatever the case may be. But it's a great industry to be in. And if that's something that's of interest to you, that's great. We have a great opportunity at MarketStar to be involved with several digital media and ad tech clients that we love working with, because our purpose is to help them to drive their revenues. And so as we work with them, we get to represent really great brands, and we get to be in an industry that's really wonderful. So that's part of what many of you are here for today, was for this competition. So let me ask you this. Those of you who competed, big sigh of relief. Are you good, right? Yeah. Thank you, right? Matt, was that Matt or was that Brian? They're not there yet, right? We still got finalists, right? But let me just say this. For those of you who competed today, stand up real quick, everyone who competed. Everybody, please just give them a round of applause, all right? Woo. Okay, thanks. Here's the deal. This is a very new thing for us to be able to do with you, and it's great for us to be here, but I want to make sure that we recognize those who competed today. This is a completely different type of competition than perhaps anything you may have done before. If you're a sports competitor, that's fine, but that's different than what was done here today. If you've done public speaking before, that's great, but what was done here today is a little bit different. This was nerve-wracking. These are folks who are putting together a proposal for a business that they don't actually work with yet, right? They're presenting themselves as Pinterest, but they really don't have the inner workings, like if you worked at MarketStar, if you worked at Pinterest. So they've gone out on a limb, and they've done a really good job. So I can only say for the 3 that we judged that they did a phenomenal job, and I'm sure that happened in the other groups as well. So kudos to you for that. And if this is something that you have interest in, these are the things that we'll just talk a little bit about. If you look at the bullet points here on the left-hand side, $860 million of venture capital has been poured into ad tech just in the last year or so. Every company that is in digital media and ad tech is being disrupted, and that $860 million, a lot of that goes to the disruptors, but a lot of that is also for those who are trying to protect. Think of Twitter, right? Everybody uses Twitter. Twitter used to be it, right? Twitter was the big thing. Twitter's not it anymore. Snapchat, pretty big. Snapchat's going to get disrupted as well. There is a lot of disruption that's going on. So when you look at what's being invested, that's what is fueling a lot of that, is what is going to be the next thing? What's the platform that it's going to be on, and how are we going to reach the individuals? So those of you who are sales folks, you know that you're selling something that hopefully you believe in, and something that you can put in front of a client that they're going to buy as well. What's interesting about digital advertising is there's 2 sales there, or advertising in general. We have to sell the client on why they need to advertise with us, but then the campaign itself has to sell the user on why they should click, why they should buy. So for our competition here, we were Warby Parker. We took on the persona, and we said, hey, we need you to help us to move some sunglasses. How many of you in the last year have clicked on an ad? Actually, more than I thought. So thank you. That's good. What made you click? Someone tell me why you clicked.
Good deal.
It was a good deal? All right. That's good. What else? Yeah. Okay, it was relevant to your interest. Perfect. What else? Good deal and relevant. There are a lot of people who raised their hands. Why else did you click? Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes they're just really funny.
Okay, so good creative. All right, all right. It was enough for you to click on it. Okay, perfect. Someone else? Yeah.
Just the product itself, it was something I never considered before. It was totally just, I was like, wow, that's cool. I've got to check that out.
Okay. Okay, and that's the power of advertising in general, right? They put something in front of you that you hadn't known before and might never have considered, which is the exact opposite of something that was relevant to you, that you did know and that fit within what you were doing. So if you look at the rest of the bullet points here, the big portion of the digital advertising media revenue spend goes to 2 companies, Google and Facebook. That doesn't mean it's all, right? Pinterest does a really great job. They have a great opportunity, and many others do as well, but it's called a duopoly, right? Google and Facebook take a lot of those dollars. Anyone want to venture guess why? Why do Google and Facebook take so much of the revenue? Yeah, please. Okay, so it's where people spend their time, all right? So there's an audience there. Very, very good. By the way, thanks for going out on a limb, right? If you have a really great question or answer and it's not all that really great, we won't tell you it's not really great, okay? So great answer anyway. I saw another hand though, and then I got that one there. Was a hand over here? It's where we spend time. Okay, go ahead. Okay. All right, so they let you know where your dollar is being spent, okay? Because I've spent a lot of time in digital media, I've also sold against more traditional media, and it's easy for me to try to position myself against newspaper. Right? If you think about newspaper, it's really hard to have analytics on the newspaper as to who saw what, how long did they dwell there. You can't click on a newspaper ad, right? You have to actually pick up a phone, so they have to pay for a call tracking number that will say, this call came from this ad and so forth. Digital media and the analytics that we have are great, but it's a two-edged sword, because when you tell your advertiser that you can measure all that, then what do? Yeah, they want results, right? They're going to hold you accountable. So that's great. So Google and Facebook, anything else you can think of why they're taking dollars out of all the media spend? Audience and analytics. Yeah, please.
Well, when someone goes to Google, they're searching for something, so
Okay.
they have that intent.
Yep.
And people are paying for that, and I mean, the first couple are ads that you see, so that's what I think.
Okay, perfect. So if you couldn't hear that, it was because of the sales funnel and the fact when you go to Google, you're searching for something, and that means you normally have intent versus something that you discover that maybe you didn't know of. Go ahead, please. Yep. So if you couldn't hear that, it was the fact that you can log in with Google on many other locations as well. It's brilliant on their part, right? It's not that they care that they make it easier for you to log into other sites. Maybe they care a little bit about that. It's the data, right? They want you to be able to go through them so they can have access to where you're going and what you're doing. If you think about it, the other part of that is Google and Facebook, Facebook specifically, and many Google products you have to actually log into, right? I spent 6 years with KSL.com. When you go to KSL Classifieds, you don't have to log in. Unless you want to post an ad, you don't have to log in. So it's harder on KSL to be able to track users because if they're not logged in, we're not quite sure who they are. There's a cookie that's dropped on the machine, but that could be my wife, it could be my daughter, it could be someone else. Versus when I log into Facebook, it's me, right? Unless I left it open and someone, took over my Facebook and posted some things that I didn't want them to. So the last couple of things right there. You can see some of the top digital media companies right above Lori's head there. But I want to ask you guys this. Where do you spend your time on digital media? Where do you guys go? Google and Facebook is a given, right? Because we know that. So take those out. Where do you spend time online? Twitter, Instagram, YouTube?
We got a Pinterest right here.
Pinterest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody sees that logo and doesn't say Pinterest until, yeah, okay. Where else do you spend time? Amazon? Okay. Okay, thanks, Janie. Anyone else? Any other brands? What's that? ESPN? Snapchat? Okay. Why do you spend time on those sites? They're a part of your life. I love that, okay? They're literally a part of my life, okay? Do any of you, when you're standing waiting in line for at the grocery store or for a bus or anything else, do any of you just stand there anymore? You used to look at the National Enquirer because it was right there at the checkout, right? We don't do that anymore. We pull out our phones to look at the National Enquirer, right? If you think about it, it is. It is a part of our life now, and it's what we do. Pinterest is a great example of that. My wife has all kinds of boards because she's planning things, and she's doing different things that will help, in her view, her life and my life and our family's life and so forth. So I just want to leave you with this as we get ready to kick this off. Digital media is an incredible place to be as a user because it's changing how we do things. It is part of your life and so forth. But that's why it's so cool to be on the other side, for me to be able to work with clients and work with advertisers to help them take advantage of everything that's going on great in digital media so that they can reach users and help them with something that's relevant, help them discover something they didn't know about, help them get a really good deal, all the things that you said. So as we go into the rest of this, I hope you'll ask some questions. I hope you'll know that Keith will probably have some fun with everybody as well. But thanks for having us here. Thanks for those who have competed. And if you didn't compete, thanks for being here, and maybe you'll want to compete next year. So thank you.
Matt, we're going to turn some time over to Matt as well.
Awesome. Hey, guys. I'm Matt Bauman. I'm on the Pinterest side of this, live in San Francisco, but grew up here in Utah. Grew up in Salt Lake City, went to Skyline High School, went to BYU, and then I've been out in the Bay Area since then. Just wanted to spend a few minutes and share kind of what we're doing at Pinterest, so you have a sense for that aspect, right? Todd talked about all the different platforms and channels, and Pinterest is one that is at the front end of that disruption curve, so in the advertising space. So Google and Facebook are our main competitors, and that's who we talk about with our advertisers a lot. But I joined Pinterest 3.5 years ago, and I joined really because I believed in what the product was. When I think about work and what I want to do with work, it's a few things. One, do I believe in the product? Two, is it challenging? And three, is the opportunity interesting enough for me to spend my time doing that? And Pinterest itself, I think when you think about what is it, it's a product that helps people discover and save and do things in their lives and really shape their lives. We use the phrase that people design their lives on Pinterest. So you think about it, core human innate needs, right? What to eat, what to wear, what do I want my wedding to feel like? What do I want my relationship with my kids to be like, right? Those are universal questions, right? It doesn't matter what part of the world you live in, where you live in. Those are universal questions that actually Google can't answer, right? There is not a specific answer to that. And Pinterest has the opportunity, and what it's doing is providing a way to discover those answers to those questions in a really, really cool way. And so That's something that, for me, I can really, really get behind and I'm excited about. And truly, we are impacting people's lives around the world, 200 million people, which is really, really exciting. And on the ad side, I think from a business perspective, it's a really interesting business because you have people that are coming to look at commercial content, right? That doesn't happen anywhere else. So, except Google. Google and Pinterest share that one piece in common, right? On Facebook, you're going to look at pictures of your friends. Instagram's pictures of your friends. Twitter, you're going to read the news or to figure out why your train's delayed, right? That's why I use it. It's the only time I get on Pinterest when my train's delayed. Twitter. I think that Pinterest is uniquely positioned because people are coming to look at commercial-oriented content. And so that's why in this ecosystem, Pinterest has a really, really great opportunity to disrupt the industry. If you think about, okay, the season's changing. It's turning into fall and winter soon. Feels like winter. Still cold from my walk from the car to the building. But fall fashion or new fashion ideas for like, what are you thinking? What's the latest there, right? Pinterest is at the forefront. That's where you go to look at pictures from Nordstrom, to look at pictures from J. Crew, to look at pictures from these businesses, right? So from a business aspect and from a business perspective, it's very, 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 very appealing to get in front of somebody who has an open mind and also has a ton of intent to look and to purchase. And so similar stories, right? I think my wife and I, when we moved to our new place, we got on Pinterest and we started pinning ideas of couches, of decor, and what we wanted our new place to look and feel like. And so that's a marketer's dream, right? To get in front of somebody that is at the beginning of their research cycle, right? Oftentimes, if you get in front of somebody, if they've already made a decision, it's kind of wasted dollars, right? But if you get in front of somebody that says, I'm ready to buy a couch, and I don't know which one, West Elm, Pottery Barn, all these people, that is a perfect time to get in front of them. So super exciting from a business perspective. And I think in the last 3 years, we went from a ads product that took literally 30 minutes to promote one ad to now where you can upload thousands of ads at one time through a lot of bulk tools and things like that. We've grown from a couple advertisers that we were working really close with and trying to build this product to now thousands, tens of thousands of advertisers that are on the platform every day spending dollars. And what's really exciting is we started with the largest brands in the world, Nike, Unilever, L'Oreal, those types of companies. And then we built a product that would allow us to reach hundreds of millions or all the hundreds of thousands of businesses out there that aren't those guys. And that's what we're working on now, and that's what our partnership with MarketStar is. And so we have a team of people at MarketStar, currently 60 people there, that are talking to businesses that are selling the chairs that you're sitting on, right? You might not know that company like you know Nike, but they need to get in front of customers, right? And Pinterest is an opportunity for them to do that. And so it's really, really exciting because we haven't attacked what we call the SMB, small and mid-sized business market before, and that's what we're doing now. And so it's going really well. We partnered with MarketStar a year ago to kind of test this concept with about 20 people on the team. We've grown to about 50 and really, really excited to announce that we are going to grow the team to 150 people here very, very shortly. And I think this is really just the beginning as well. The number of businesses out there and the number of businesses that are on Pinterest, there's a lot more opportunity that we haven't even touched yet. So really excited about the future, excited about Pinterest and what we're building, and really excited about the energy that all of you that competed put into this today. I think I was blown away by the content and the proposals that you put together. And so appreciate the time. Thank you for having us here on campus. Thank you for Sterling and everybody at Utah State who allowed us to come and spend some time with you all. I think we'll go into the Q&A or the panel portion here. Yeah. But thank you. Really, really appreciate it, and looking forward to spending the rest of the day with you as well.
All right. Thank you. Excellent. So for the audience, we'd love to have your questions, so start thinking about it. We'll have folks be able to walk around and get you a mic if needed. And then our panelists, think about some specific questions that might be on your mind relative to the industry or how they got into it. But I've been told there are a few questions that are off limits. BYU athletics or football is one of them.
It's off limits.
It's off limits. I'm actually supposed to wear a BYU sweatshirt yesterday because I lost a bet to Matt over the weekend when the Stanford and Utah game happened. So, Matt, you came from Google before you came to Pinterest. So, you've talked about Pinterest, but for you personally, when you were going through school, why did you ultimately choose the ad tech industry and beyond just the excitement of Pinterest as a brand? So talk to you a little about that, and then we'll come back to Todd and ask Todd that question.
Yeah. So I went to BYU. I studied finance. I was in the business program. Knew I wanted to go into business, but had no clue what I wanted to do in reality. Interviewed all over the place. I had an offer with Ford in their finance division, with Sears Holdings in Chicago.
Ooh, Sears is
exciting. And and with Google. And so those were kind of my offers. And Sears actually was $10,000 more a year in offer than Google. So I was leaning that direction. Obviously, $10,000 at the time was a lot. And I got slapped in the face by someone that I owe kind of my life to. Said, "Are you serious? What are you thinking? The S is falling off the building down the street, and Google is the most important company in the world. Like, don't do that. That's not smart." And I'm like, I hadn't thought about it like that. And so I kind of, by dumb luck, ended up in Silicon Valley in ad tech, and have been so grateful for that ever since, and haven't really looked back. I think I spent some years at Google, and then I went to Stanford for business school, and then now I'm at Pinterest, doing similar work that I did at Google. And the reason I went back into this industry is that, similar to Todd's comments, it's at the forefront of consumers and business, right? Everybody in your pockets has a phone, and you have at least 3 or 4 of the apps that were talked about, right? So, the ability to influence people and to have access to people and just the sheer kind of cutting edge of the technology has just been really exciting to me. I think it's not going away. It's the next chapter of advertising and of business and how businesses reach consumers. So for me, it's, I really love tech. I really love that industry. Tech's not going away. It is becoming the economy of the U.S. And so I was really happy that I landed in that industry because it's one that's only going to get bigger.
Todd, we'll give you a second to answer that as well. Why did you get in? Because you came from ATK, from a past background into ad tech, from digital media.
Yeah, so my entire career has been in sales, and just as Matt said, I don't want to work at a place that I don't believe in the product, that isn't something that I enjoy. But in my case, in 2009, I had the opportunity to join what was basically a startup called Desert Digital Media. You know the brands, KSL.com, DesertNews.com, and so forth. So those were brands that I believed in, and I grew up watching MASH after the KSL 10 o'clock news. I know half of you are like, what's MASH? I get it, okay? But those were brands that I knew and that I enjoyed, and everyone knows KSL.com. And so it was an opportunity to go do something with brands that I enjoy and be very, very disruptive. Many don't know that Desert Digital Media truly is disrupting in the nation, not just in Salt Lake City, which is a big deal. And then I believe in what advertising does, and I believe in selling advertising. I believe in putting that message out there at the right time in a relevant way and so forth. So that's really been my driver.
If you can't tell, Todd's got a little energy. He's also a cheerleader for Weber State at one point, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, he's got a little energy. He's a little amped up, which I like. Keeps me going. So, Brian, this next question's for you and Lori. Talk to me, and I have a lot of respect for Brian. I've been working with Brian now for almost 6 years, and he's probably one of the most intelligent people I've worked with in a long time. He looks at things in a very different way. But Brian, talk to me a little bit about some of the skills and capabilities that make an individual successful in this ad tech industry. And then Lori, look at it maybe from a management perspective of what kind of skills you look for when you're hiring someone.
Yeah, sure. So before that, I just wanted to echo what Matt said. Totally blown away by the competitors and all the content you put together. Is like just amazing, like that you don't know anything about this and that you did that. Some funny moments for sure, but overall it's like super, super high quality. I think I wrote on my judging sheet like several times like, what year is this person? Like, can we hire them? Yeah, so thank you for that. It was awesome. So the interesting thing about selling, so I've worked with Google, I've worked with a company called AdRoll, which does display retargeting. Obviously, work closely with Matt now to build these SMB sales teams. And the thing that's cool about selling in our space is that, like, it's not that difficult to get somebody to run ads on Pinterest. Like, it's not, most sales jobs, the heavy lifting is like, you got to find out, who you should be talking to, then you got to get a hold of them, then you got to convince them to talk to you, and then you got to tell them why your widget is faster or does things better than, the competitive widget or whatever. And then at the end, you send them the product, and that's like the easy part. But what's cool about our space is that businesses want to advertise on Pinterest. Like, every business would want to if it could work, right? Because it's like, you put $1 in, you get $2 out, like, you do that all day long. So convincing people to be on the platform is easy, but figuring out the right formula, Matt compares it to being a scientist, and I completely agree. It's like you experiment and you iterate, and you run 2 ads that are targeting the same people but look different, or you run 2 ads that look the same and are targeting different people, and you try to figure out which ones work for the advertiser. So it's like this giant puzzle all the time in an auction that you can't predict, right? You can't predict what's going to happen in an auction for the most part. So that's the cool part. Is it's like we're solving puzzles every day. No 2 days are even remotely the same. There's no playbook, which is amazing. So our salespeople have to be super duper smart, analytical, like curious, hungry, and that's why it was so cool to see you guys out there today. Is like all of those things that we talk about were on display. It was like tons of energy and creativity and just hunger and smarts, and it's really cool to see. So that's what we look for, really.
Lori?
So to echo what Brian was saying, this is a really interesting field for sure. So when I graduated from college, it was right about the time when all the small businesses were starting to get websites. Like Facebook had just started. Things had just started rolling out. And as I've grown in my career in ad tech and social media and marketing, the biggest thing that I've seen, the people that are the most successful in this area are those that are willing to adapt and be nimble and innovative. Because what you're learning today in class, in 6 months from now, may not exist anymore. Those rules of engagement, the platforms that are there, what works today isn't going to work tomorrow. And so, especially on our team and with Pinterest in general, like what Brian was saying, there is no rule book. And it literally in the last year that we've been going, how many times have things have just changed? They change. The auction changes, best practices change with the wave of the customers, really, and the way that the space goes. So as a manager, what I'm looking for and what I think in general, whether you're with us or other people, is really just being able to be scrappy and learn and go out and make mistakes and be innovative. Like sitting back and trying to wait for someone to tell you how to do something isn't going to help you in this space. Like you want to learn from everyone around you, but a big part of this is being proactive and trying to learn, and that's really been quite impressive today, is that some of your presentations were spot on and some were like not, but the way that you were thinking about it was great. Like the logic that was there and the way that you approached the question made me really excited because you don't really know the platform very well, but the way you came at it made a lot of sense, and so that was exciting to see.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, we're going to turn some time to the audience to get some questions. One of the things I love about this panel is the broad generations that can actually be successful in ad tech. You got Todd, where desktop computers were just coming out when he came out of college, and Pinterest is being formed when Matt came out. It's pretty exciting. All right, who's got the first question from the audience? We got some.
And then
okay,
as we have students and faculty and other members from the community, as you stand up, if you would say your name, stand and then ask your question. And if you're a student, if you'll say your major as well.
A little freebie for those that ask questions too. So.
Thank you. My name is Logan Wongswan. I'm studying marketing. I'm just curious, you talk about how there's eventually going to be something to disrupt the digital media What do you anticipate that disruption being?
I think it's going to be ads that are beamed directly into your brain. No, I don't know, but if my guess is that one of you guys will figure it out, and then you'll be one of those 20-some-year-old billionaires. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think a lot of people are trying to figure that out. So there's a guy by the name of Jeffrey Ketzenberg, who is the founder of DreamWorks. He's left DreamWorks and raised a $600 million fund to create something called New TV, which is content that is in 5 to 8 minute increments because people are in line. They have 8 minutes, so it's like a TV show in 8 minutes. Maybe it's that, right? Maybe it's not. It's hard to say. There's a lot of people taking stabs and shots at what it could be. But I think what's cool about the industry is it adapts really, really quickly. And advertisers need to get in front of people wherever they're spending your time, to your comment. And that might be new TV. It might stay, these. So it's a good question, though. It's something to keep an eye on.
Thank you. Who's got our next one? Right here?
Yeah.
You got Mike?
I just talk.
We were trying to record this as well. I want to make sure everybody here. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, so if someone's interested in working for Pinterest or MarketStar, when you're looking at a potential hire, how important are soft skills compared to technical skills?
I'll take it. Sure. Soft skills, really, really important. So when you say technical skills, like you don't need to know the nuts and bolts of ROAS calculations and all of that. We can teach you that, right? We can teach you the nuts and bolts of advertising and of marketing and of those principles. And I think those of you that are in marketing, like that's a huge benefit. I think when you come, you'll feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, and you're like, wow, I knew a lot, and now I know a lot more. It's going to be a master's level kind of degree in a month. It's going to be insane. So we can teach you all that. So what we're really looking for is what Brian mentioned, which is like hunger, scrappiness, like being very, very proactive, the ability to communicate very clearly, like all those kind of intangibles. Somebody that is going to run through walls to get something done, right? Those kind of personality traits are what really set people apart.
Okay. What else we got from the audience? Up front here, and then we'll go back. We'll go back here.
All right. Hi, I'm Kent Nelson. Thank you. Going along with your last comment about, drinking from a fire hose, learning so much. In the last couple of weeks, I've been exposed to a platform that I was unfamiliar with. And as I was doing the research and as I was putting this stuff together, I kept finding myself wishing that I had a product that I could advertise on Pinterest, because I'm like, this is like a money-making machine from a manufacturer standpoint. So my question is, with you guys with this intimate knowledge of what Pinterest is and what it can do for people, how hard is it to then try to sell this to somebody else? I'm sure there's skepticism that can it really be this good? And so it makes me wonder, where you guys know what you have, is it an easy sell, or is it still a hard sell when you're dealing with manufacturers and people who you're trying to get onto your platform?
Good question. So the question, for those of you who couldn't hear, was basically like, is it hard to sell Pinterest? It takes a lot. We need to learn a lot to be product experts. Like, how is it communicating that with advertisers? I think, like what I was saying earlier, is that in digital marketing, specifically, like when you look at performance-based or direct response advertisers, so people who are like, well, I want users to click on my ad, go to my site, and do something, usually like buy a product. It's a very measurable kind of machine. So you spend $1 on Pinterest, and you need to get like $5 in revenue back. And once you hit that formula, then you'll just like keep doing that, right? You'll scale that spend for as long as you can hit those goals. So it's communicating to the partners the value of Pinterest isn't difficult at all. Like, partners, meaning advertisers, because they get it. Like, they want to advertise on Pinterest. Like, They don't want to be stuck on Facebook and Google. They want other channels, like as many channels as that they can have that are profitable. They're down to have. So it's not difficult. It's getting it to work is like the heavy lifting part. Is like getting that $1 in, $5 out formula to work is like different for every single advertiser. Like different for Warby Parker than it would be for Movement Watches. Like there's no formula, right? Like we just have to test things, and that's also what makes it really cool.
We got a question back here, and then.
My name's Haley. I'm studying marketing. So as we were preparing for this competition, we were kind of confused between the role specifically MarketStar had with Pinterest. So after you like get the sell and everything, how exactly do you interact?
This one's super quick. So, as far as the advertiser is concerned, we're Pinterest. So I think that's where the confusion is. And like, if you go to our building and you ask any of the people on our team where they work, 10 out of 10 of them will say Pinterest. Not one of them will say MarketStar. Like, you run into someone that works on our team that you used to know, and you're like, hey, what are you up to? They'll be like, yeah, I work at Pinterest now. All of them. So, and then in terms of the advertisers, for sure, like, they don't even know what MarketStar is. They never hear that term. We're all at Pinterest.com email addresses. Like, we're represented 100% as Pinterest. We're just, when they ask us, we're just like, we're in their Salt Lake office. That answer the question? Okay.
And Todd, maybe build on that just a little bit about the kind of what, MarketStar is unique in that we are, we're contracted with Pinterest. So what do you think some of the thoughts and reasons why, Matt may be able to weigh in on this as well. Why does a company choose MarketStar? What does it help? Why does it help a company to choose a company like MarketStar?
Sure. So outsourcing in general is all about a couple of different things. Core competencies. If you're good at something and not good at something else, you'll normally outsource the things you're not good at to someone else to do them, to the extent that they can do them better than your half-hearted efforts could do, right? In the case of ad tech and digital media, we have clients who are often based in New York City or in San Francisco because that's where the centers of media are and ad tech. But we also know that there's a lot of cost there. So one of the things that we can bring is oftentimes a cost differential, right? You can save a little bit of money and work with a company that is all about sales as a service. So if you get a company that is really good at sales, that can cost you a little bit less, and oh, by the way, maybe they can sell on par or maybe even a little bit better than some of your sales teams, you start to check off all those boxes. And that's how we win business, like with a Pinterest or anyone else. That would be how I would say it from my side, but we probably ought to hear from Matt.
No, he nailed it. Brian can do this way better than I can. So we came over to work with them. And it's been phenomenal. I think the core competency piece is not to be overshadowed. We had never done SMB sales before, something that MarketStar does all day with all different types of clients. And so we've benefited a lot from partnering with them and learning from Brian and the team. Yep.
I have one thing to add. Just speaking for MarketStar specifically, a really great opportunity for working with MarketStar is the fact that you get to work with these large brands that honestly in Logan, Utah, you wouldn't have the opportunity to do otherwise. And you get exposure and experience with these brands that you wouldn't. Like Pinterest, I'd say most of them are hiring people directly on Pinterest from Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, Google, Facebook. Yeah, and then 8 years of experience at Google. And our team is getting the opportunity to do the same job and learn the same trade here in Utah through MarketStar. It's pretty incredible.
Like one important piece of that is that when you're thinking about your career, and this may be it might be somewhere else, doesn't really matter. I think you should look for an area or a place where you're going to be challenged. Because if it's easy, you're not growing fast enough, and like the long-term prospects of your career are going to be drastically different. So look for somewhere where you're going to be challenged. And one of my favorite things about this program is every time I come and every time I'm here, everyone says, this job is really hard. This is the hardest job I've ever had. Not from like I'm physically tired, right? You're not mowing lawns. It's just like this is intellectually challenging, right? And you have to, Brian's point, have to solve problems every day. And there's no script. There's no say this every time. And on this microphone, it's, X decibels, and you're going to love it. Here it is, right? It's like, no. For Warby Parker, the answer is different than it is for Nike, than it is for Shure microphones, right? It's different for everybody. So that's what makes this kind of puzzle in a very, very, very challenging environment. And then you've got really talented people from Pinterest that are out here all the time as well. And so there's really good cross-collaboration and learning both directions, providing, I think, a cool, unique experience.
Right. We had a question here. We'll come back here, but I just want to add one point as well. So I started my career at MarketStar. Actually, I started my career as a golf professional and realized I wasn't going to make a very good living as a golf professional. And so I went to work for MarketStar. Actually, one of my first bosses at MarketStar was Todd. And we worked on the Motorola program. It was one of the big clients at MarketStar. And at the time we landed it, it doubled the size of the company. And it was a big, big project. I worked for a few years on that, and then I had the rare opportunity to go work for Motorola. Motorola hired me as a result of the experience they had with me at MarketStar, and ended up launching about a 12-year career with Motorola. And we see that from a MarketStar perspective. We've had literally hundreds, if not thousands, of our employees that have gone on to work for our client brands. And that's great for us. Many of them will come back. Actually, we have numbers of individuals, myself included, that decided, I really enjoyed what MarketStar did. I was tired of working 22-hour days at Motorola, and I was okay working 18-hour days at MarketStar. So, I'm just kidding. Todd will tell you I don't work that hard.
No, but he makes me work that hard.
So there is a great career path, right? There's not just MarketStar. There's the client and the client relationship. So we'll come over here for a question, and then we'll hit a couple more. Oh, one more there, and then him.
My name is Marshall Richens. I'm a computer science and marketing student. My question was, if you say you have for account manager, and you have a large amount of clients, one's paying more than others, how would you manage those clients fairly?
That's a great interview question. I almost don't want to answer it. Or I actually really don't want to answer it. It's a really good question, right? The question is, if you're an account manager, you've got 75 accounts, they're all spending different amounts of money. Like, how do you prioritize your time? Where do you spend your time? I actually don't want to answer this question. I think that's the job, is to be able to do that effectively. All right, I'll answer it. I think it's a balance, right? You need to obviously spend more time with people that are spending more money. You need to figure out who has potential to spend a lot more money and also focus time there. People that have very, very low potential and are just on but aren't going to grow a lot, kind of reactively manage those so that you don't lose that money. And it's a balance there. So you're always kind of thinking about, how do we maximize the pie here, and where can I allocate my time accordingly that's going to do that? And that's based on a number of things, right? The company, how well it fits with Pinterest, how well it's performing, how responsive and where that relationship is, and if you actually talk to them, they'll implement and do things. So there's a number of both kind of quantitative and qualitative pieces to it. Does that answer your question? All right. Now forget everything I just said.
Excellent. Okay, question up here. By the way, he got a selfie stick. I'm pretty sure he has his own monogram selfie stick. When I was up here last year, we had a good panel discussion, and he says to me, we were talking about money. He's like, I want to make as much money as possible. I still remember it to this day. It's fantastic. I love it. He's still the same way today.
Still wired, that's
I
for
like
sure.
it.
So this is a question. You guys talked a lot about how this industry is constantly changing, and you constantly have to be on your toes. And now I know with Pinterest, I don't know if any of you guys are in a position where it's like, so what's Pinterest going to do to keep up with the constant curve? But what is MarketStar going to do? Like, as industries change, as they realize, like, oh shoot, the direct-to-the-brain advertising is the way it's going to go. How is MarketStar planning on keeping up with the rapid movement?
We'll sell ads to the brain for whoever the brain. That's what we do. SMBs, though.
So that's a perfect question, and I could go on a long time about that, because that's what we're focusing on specifically in our digital media and ad tech channel. MarketStar's nearly 30-year history now has been in high-tech, IT, CE, so Intel, HP, Cisco, great names. But those folks are in a completely different channel, and the way they deliver their product is completely different as well. We know that we need to ensure that we work with them for as long as we can and take care of them, but we also need to hedge our bets, if you will, or whatever metaphor you want to use, and look at where the growth is. The growth opportunity is in ad tech. It's in cloud services. It's in SaaS, software as a service. And that's why we're building these business units to do those as well. So we are going to make sure that we take our core business and continue to protect it, but then we're also building all new business to be able to work with clients such as Pinterest and others, so that obviously we want to drill all of those. We want to nail everything, but if anything happens in our core business, then we're well prepared with our existing business. So that's just a client standpoint. Then there's hiring the right people that can answer that question that Matt didn't want to answer, and that can use the technology and so forth. We have to make sure that we're always putting out, because our product is our people, right? That's the only thing we produce. We don't have a manufacturing line, and we have to make sure we have the very best product possible. So getting in the right industries, building around that, supporting our people and training them and giving them all the tools that they need to be successful.
And Todd, I'll add to that I know that right now there's actually like a task force that's spending time with our employees to make it more millennial focused. Because MarketStar's been around for how long now? 29 years. And so there's that innovation of, okay, well, how do we need to change our approach and our culture at the workplace in order to keep up with the new workforce that's coming out? So I know MarketStar is ahead of that and is trying to think through those strategies.
Great job. We're going to take one more question, and then we're going to go to the panelists and hear what their top 3 favorite boards are. So Todd, I want you to be honest when you come to your favorite board. So we got the last question right here. You know, it is interesting as we're getting the mic to him, you know, from a MarketStar perspective, we've been using this construct called dual transformation. If you want a great book to read, a great business book, dual transformation is a great concept around how you disrupt your own business to stay ahead of disruption. So, okay, last question, and then we'll come to the 3 favorite pin boards.
Yeah, my name is Bryson Cole. I'm a marketing student here, but I'd be in a sales program if they had it here. First of all, Brian, back to your comment about hiring people. I hope that was our group that you were talking about hiring all of us.
You'll have to wait.
Okay, but give me like a day-to-day as a digital advertiser. You go into work, are you on the computer, are you making phone calls? Maybe just as far as for me, because I want to go into sales. It's inside sales obviously, but kind of give us like a day-to-day ratio.
Yeah, sure. So in our world, there really isn't a kind of routine in the sense of, you know, things are always changing, but the basic core principles are like, we reach out to businesses, and usually via email, and just like introduce them to Pinterest as an advertising platform, ask them to schedule, if they want to schedule a call with us, and then we have a bunch of tools that allow them to just like automatically book 30 minutes on our calendars. And then we get on the phone and we kind of give them the basic education about Pinterest. And like a lot of times they've advertised on Pinterest before, or, you know, are familiar with Pinterest, but they haven't been on as an advertiser for, you know, a couple years or a couple quarters, and a lot of stuff has changed. So you take them through like the current state of the product, figure out their goals as a business. Most of the time, most of our conversations are spent talking about their business, which is one of the cool things that we always talk about is like, you're on the marketing team in a way for like all these different businesses in all these different markets. And so you learn how, you know, fashion brand thinks about their marketing, and you learn about how, you know, a food brand thinks about their marketing, and you just get this really broad exposure to, you know, marketers at the highest level at huge brands that are, you know, telling you what they care about in marketing. So it's super cool. So it's talking to advertisers, and then we spend a lot of time looking at their performance of their campaigns and making sure that we're at least trending to their goals. So it's like some of your time is quantitative, so it's looking at data, performance data, and then a lot of your time is spent talking to advertisers on the phone.
Okay, top 3 favorite boards, Matt.
Top 3 favorite boards. I love my dessert board. So I have 2 food boards. One is like healthy food, and then one is just like good food. And so that's probably my favorite one. On the sappy side, I've got a great board with ideas for stuff to do with my daughters, which is actually one of like the best things about Pinterest. I have maybe two. I'm gonna go four. I have a watch board. I love watches, and there's like just amazing watches on Pinterest, which I really like. And then probably my most like Pinteresty that Pinterest would be proud of my board name is the Road Less Traveled, which is just all like crazy places that I'd like to go someday.
Awesome, Brian.
Yeah, so I have probably my favorite board is a board that I have just for tech, because there's all kinds of cool, like anytime a new cool device comes into the world, it goes crazy on Pinterest for a minute, and so I like to see those as they come up. And then I have a travel board as well, and then I love camping, so I have a board that's camping stuff, and it's usually like techie too, like the cool tents that have like solar panels and stuff on them. So.
I'd say my top 3 boards. One is a shared board with my teenage daughter. She uses it as her shopping list. And that's actually something we talked about in my interview. Yeah, that's one way that my family, me and my daughter, use Pinterest, is that she'll send me clothes that she finds or different outfits that she's put together, and so we collaborate for her, which is pretty fun. And then I, like everyone else on Pinterest, have a travel board, but I'm a big like road trip person, and so this whole board is about like the top 10 most random small towns in Montana or Nevada or whatnot. Yeah, those are kind of the 2 boards that I use the most, but the third one's gone now. I'm sure I have a dessert board, like everybody else on Pinterest as well. You have one more for me for my shortage? Okay.
So I didn't know Pinteresty was a term, but my most Pinteresty board, actually, my wife and I are planning next year to build what will probably be our last home. Probably won't do that again. And so I want to build her the best craft room possible. So the board is called Lisa's Craft Room, right? It's Pinteresty, I guess. With all the ideas of things that I want to have for her. I'm very OCD, so I'm waiting for Pinterest to have sub-boards, boards nested within boards and so forth, because that makes things a lot easier, right? So I have several cycling boards, but I really like retro cycling posters, like the Tour de France from the 1920s, black and white, old school cycling. And then in general, it'd be men's fashion, but to be specific, we'll go with window pane sport coats.
Very nice. All right, we're going to hear Matt's last one in just a second. My top 3 boards are cooking. I love to cook. Dirt bikes and fly fishing are my 3 boards. In fact, that's the only 3 boards I have, just so you know. Okay, so we've had PricewaterhouseCoopers / Sterling coming up with our finalists that are going into the final competition. So he's walking up here with it, a little drama, as you can imagine, with Sterling.
Smells like money.
Matt's going to tell us his last board, and then he's going to announce those that are going into the final competition. So Matt, take it away.
This is awesome. All right, so my final board, you can use Pinterest for a lot of different things. You heard kind of the traditional uses. So about a year ago on our team, we instituted a board that was called Pinterest Online Sale, whatever the name of the team was, Pinterest Online Sales. And it was a shared board, so every time someone posted, you get an email. And we posted like doppelgangers and just stuff that of people on the team. And there's this one girl on the team, her name's Cindy, and her nickname's Sintensity because she's like really intense. And she's got long blonde hair, and someone posted a horse with like long blonde hair just like tearing into this thing. And they changed the caption and said, Cindy coming in hot. It's just like, there's about 100 of those. But anyways, it was a fun little team game. All right, you guys ready? Okay. All right, these are the finalists, right? This is awesome. All right, the 3 finalists for the MarketStar Pinterest competition are, drum roll please, in random order, but this is the order that they'll present in the finals. Team 14. Nice. Round of applause. Team 3. Nice. And last, another drum roll I think is appropriate. Team 6. You want a picture? Great work, and I think just great work to everybody. Just to echo what was said earlier, you guys all put in a lot of effort. It was evident. Learned a ton with limited information and did a really phenomenal job. So congratulations, everybody.